Hi everyone. Welcome to Journey Through the Psalms. I'm Denise Domkowski-Hopkins, your guide on this journey. I've been teaching and preaching in local churches for over 20 years now, and I know that you are going to find some stimulating and challenging material in this course with the Wesley Ministry Network. As we begin our journey through the Psalms, I'm mindful of the psalmist's plea to God in Psalm 143, verse 8. Teach me the way I should go. The Psalms offer us a way through life that embraces the reality of our experience and of our relationship with God. Roland Murphy, the late Psalm scholar, described the book of Psalms as a school of prayer that teaches us that there are many different kinds of prayers and many different ways of praying. These prayers in the Psalms express the whole range of our human emotions, not only joy and thanksgiving, but our reflection, our doubt, our anger, and our questions. I've come to appreciate the school of prayer in my own life. If you've read my book, you know that my dedication is to my brother, Brian, who drowned in 1978 when he was 23 and I was 27. Of him, I can honestly declare with the psalmist in Lament Psalm 17, if you test him, you will find no wickedness in him. His steps have held fast to your paths. His feet did not slip, O God. He was the best of brothers. I wrote this book in a real sense to redeem my brother's death and to testify to the power of the Psalms in my own life. Without the Psalms, especially the Angry Laments, I would not be standing in front of you today offering you this course on the Psalms. And I certainly wouldn't have been teaching in seminary and teaching in local churches for more than 24 years. When Brian died, the Psalms kept me talking to God when I was angry and when I was feeling God's absence. When Good Friday and the anguished lament cry, "Why, O Lord?" were very real for me. But as the psalmist in Psalm 30 declares, weeping may linger for the night, but joy comes with the morning. And so I began to use the Psalms to express my praise and thanksgiving when my children were born, and especially when my son was given my brother's name. During the course of this 8-week study on the Psalms, you will each have the opportunity to share with one another about the lament and thanksgiving times in your own lives. Now, I also wrote this book to honor the many students I've had over the years at Lancaster Theological Seminary and here at Wesley Seminary. You will see several of their contributions from this shared journey through the Psalms in the form of artwork, music, dance, and poetry. I have some of their original work with me here as a reminder to us that the Psalms draw us in as whole persons, connecting with our emotions and our imaginations, and not simply with our brains. Over the years, I've met hundreds and hundreds of people in local churches and have been privileged to hear their stories of joy and pain. They have shared their laughter and tears with me and with one another as we studied the Psalms together. It's amazing what people learn about each other in a small group exercise around a Psalms text. The study guide for the 8 sessions recognizes the kind of sharing and deep listening that the Psalms encourage. This kind of sharing is not encouraged by our culture. In an article by Bob Garfield in the Washington Post entitled Images That Flicker and Fade, Garfield talks about the numbing effect of a video clip of an 11-year-old girl, Carly Brucia, who was abducted as she walked across a car wash parking lot. That video clip was played over and over again on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News Channel, and most everywhere else in the electronic world. At some point, Garfield says, the stomach stops twisting, desensitization sets in, horror evaporates. Garfield calls this the logotization of the news. The tragedy of the Carly car wash clip, argues Garfield, is the certainty that in the visual memory of the public, she will be quickly replaced, just as JonBenet Ramsey has been replaced and Elizabeth Smart and that little girl in Texas, you know, he says, the kid who fell down the well. What was her name anyway? Whether we like it or not, our culture shapes our language, our worship, and our prayer. Unfortunately, we live in a culture of materialism, consumerism, unhealthy sexual images, forgetfulness, and hype. Now, I went to look up the word hype in Webster's dictionary. My dictionary tells me that hype is short for hypodermic, as in needle. Our culture injects us literally with sensationalism, excess, and deception, so much so that we become numb. I call it our Botox culture. Botox freezes your face so that no wrinkles appear. Laughing or crying, you look the same. Don Salyers of Emory argues that there is so little difference among our movies, our newscasts, and our advertisements in our culture that we live in a continuum or a diffuse stream of undifferentiated entertainment. Salyers wonders rightly, I think, how we can sustain anger or sorrow over reports of murder and disaster and famine on the news when we cut so quickly to commercials featuring those talking frogs selling beer, or maybe Mozart playing in the background while they're trying to sell us a car. Our overstimulated culture of hype promotes forgetfulness, distraction, immediacy, and banality as we are bombarded by distractions. And I look at my own 19-year-old daughter in that regard. She thinks nothing of sitting down at her computer, IMing someone, talking on the cell phone, and using the landline to talk to someone else. I don't know how she does it.